What is up, YouTube? JankyYGO here. My name is Michael, and today we have a whole new archetype to talk about. So, without further ado, let's just jump in to the Mystic, Mr. Rune archetype. So, first card is Spring of the Mr. Rune. You can activate Mr. Rune quick play spell cards from your hand during your opponent's turn. Once return, if you activate a Mr. Rune quick play spell, you can target up to 3 Mr. Runes in your graveyard, place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, then draw that many cards. Okay, so it seems like this is gonna center around the like the field spell a little bit, but having quick plays and stuff like that, and activating them on your opponent's turn. So what do I think about this? Well, first effect is kind of good, so it makes you less susceptible to back row hate. That's pretty good. Second effect is beyond ridiculous. That's a 3-card draw, like up to 3 cards that you can draw. And I know that's once per turn, but that's still really, really powerful. Especially since you can activate quick play spells from your hand during your opponent's turn. So once you activate 3, you just get to shuffle things in and draw 3 more cards, and it keeps your advantage engine going. Very, very good, and all that. So we're gonna move on to Deceit of the Mr. Rune. So it's a continuous spell card. You can only activate 1 Deceit of the Mr. Rune, and there you can only control 1. And then each time you activate a quick play spell card, banish the top card of your opponent's deck. So we'll have to see what the rest of the cards do, but I'm not impressed with this. In my honest opinion, not very impressive. Alright, we're going to move on to Point of the Mr. Rune. So it's a quick play spell card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Activate 1 of these effects. Skip your battle phase after this card resolves. Add 1 Mr. Rune card from your deck to your hand, except for itself, and then banish the top card of your opponent's deck. Or you can special summon 1 Mr. Rune monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. So it seems like this is a mill deck. So the only thing is if it's a mill deck, it would be better if it banished the cards face down. Because there are cards and there are decks that care about the banished zone and want the cards to be banished. But if it's banished face down, it wouldn't have that problem. So that's important. We'll have to see what the extra deck monsters do. But it seems like this is going to be an engine that you throw in other decks. Not necessarily like a mixed together or like a pure deck. At least that's what I'm getting from this. We're going to move to Mr. Rune of the Brilliant Flame, another quick play, since this whole deck's quick play spell cards pretty much. You can only activate 1 card with this guy's name per turn and activate 1 of these effects. Skip your next battle phase. So I guess battle phases isn't going to be a thing in this deck. Just don't worry about it. Target 1 special summoned monster, or opponent special summoned monster. Destroy it, then banish the top 2 cards of their deck. And then you special summon 1 from the extra deck to your extra monster zone. Okay. It's destruction. It's a pop effect, and then the field spell will shuffle it in, so you don't lose too much card advantage in the 1-for-1 process. Pretty cool. Second effect is, like I said, we have to see what the extra deck monsters do. So, but the first effect is pretty cool. So Mr. Rune of Destruction is a quick play spell card. Activate 1, skip your battle phase. After your next battle phase, after this card resolves. Target spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy, then banish the top 4 cards of their deck. And then the special summon thing. Okay, so this also is the back row removal. It's searchable. It banishes 4 instead of 1 or 2. It's decent, like I said. So it seems like the whole win condition is banishing your cards off of your opponent's deck. And if they're playing, well, now that I think about it, now it's not as good. Because I say, with 3 Pot of Desires, and people were playing 3 Pot of Desires, they play the Desires, they banish the top 10, draw 2, and makes the mill strategy a little bit more viable. Without it, though, since it's at 1 in the TCG, it's going to be a little bit harder to mill your opponent out if that is the goal of this deck. But it is worth noting that there isn't a downside to these cards other than you got to skip your battle phase constantly, really. So that's pretty cool. I do like this card's okay. It just depends on matchup. So maybe it's a side deck more since spell and trap removal isn't very good in some matchups. We got Mr. Rune of the Spell. So activate one of the following effects. Skip your opponent. If your opponent cards a card or cards from your deck to your hand, except by drawing them, discard one random card from their hand, then banish the top two cards of their deck, and then special summon one. That can be pretty decent. It's like an ash blossom. It's like another ash blossom. So you can ash one thing, and then they play another search spell if they open up multiples, for example, and like multiple different ones. Then you activate this after they add. Take that card out. Very, very good. Now, Mr. Rune of the Freezing Curse. Activate one, skip your battle phase. Target one effect monster your opponent controls negates effects until the end of this turn, then banish the top three cards of their deck. Okay, searchable breakthrough skill. Pretty cool. Very good card, It's a searchable breakthrough skill, pretty much. That's all there is to say about it. It doesn't stop them from attacking, though, but it does negate effects, so that's pretty cool. I know breakthrough skill also doesn't stop attacking, but it doesn't stop attacks, by the way. So we got Mr. Rune of the Slumber, quick play spell. Activate one of the following effects. Skip your battle phase. If this card resolves, you can target one face-up monster on the field. Apply this effect to it, then banish the top three cards of your opponent's deck. Once applied, this turn that a monster cannot attack. Also, the next time it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, it is not destroyed. Special summon one Mr. Rune from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. Okay, this is a neat, hey, I'm going to protect whatever my extra deck monster is, probably what you're going to do. Because you're not attacking anyway. You're skipping your battle phase constantly. So that's not really a thing. You don't really have to worry about that. It's just literally, I'm going to protect my monster so that it's not destroyed by battle or by card effect. I think that's how you're going to use it most of the time. You can use it defensively as well. It's really hard just to evaluate these cards because I don't know what the extra deck monsters do yet. So I don't know how good that second line of text is or how good this line of text is really, but it is pretty neat. It can be useful, but once again, it probably doesn't make. I honestly don't think it'll probably make the cut though. All right, Mr. Rune of the Golden Droplets. Quick play spell. Activate one. Can only activate one of the effects. Skip the battle phase. Your opponent draws one card, then you banish the top four cards of their deck. So don't play this. Don't play this at all. Giving them a card is not worth it. Unless it's literally gonna win you the game. If they literally have 5 cards in their deck, then this card becomes worth it. Otherwise, not worth it at all. Yeah. This card looks terrible. And I know this is a mill deck, and the whole point is to mill your opponent out. But you don't want to give them card advantage while you're doing it. You want to kind of disrupt their plays. At least, in my opinion, that's what you should do. So, I'm not a big fan of this card. If it said you draw a card, then banish top 4 cards of their deck, that'd be really, really good. But, yeah. Mr. Rune of the Raging Storm. Activate one of the effects. You skip your battle phase. Banish the top cards from your deck equal to the number of cards they control. Special summon one Mr. Rune. Okay. So this is like the kind of like the big mill payoff. So you since your whole game plan is to mill them out, this is definitely probably your haymakers, your Hail Marys and stuff like that. I think the first few cards we saw were better because they're an MST that just banishes stuff off your opponent's deck as well. They're monster destruction. It's the search spell, stuff like that. But with like cards like this card right here and cards like this one, it a lot of times if you're playing it, you're gonna be using the second effect. I think most of the time, just depends. But we're gonna move on to, and this card is like your Hail Mary for this effect. Your second effect is the like normal special summon, so it just depends on what they do. So speaking of what do the Mr. Runes do, let's find out. So Moonin Wings of the Mr. Rune. Level 3 Light Fairy Fusion Effect Monster. 0 attack, 2000 defense, 2 Mr. Rune monsters is its fusion material. If this is special summon from the extra deck, discard 1 card, add 1 Mr. Rune continuous spell card from your deck to your hand. So that's going to be the one that constantly mills out of the ones we've seen. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Mr. Rune cards and or set cards you control, quick effect, you banish this card, you get the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Once per turn during each end phase, gain 1,000 life points. So, all of these, every single one of these cards, all of the spell cards, can special summon this. That means you can get a search. After you discard a card, you can search for the continuous spell card, which is pretty good. The second effect being able to protect your back row so you don't lose to just, Twin Twister. Could be cool. It is also technically you can also technically summon this card off of Instant Fusion, which is at 1, but it is still worth mentioning. So, next up we got Jerry Fangs of the Mr. Rune. Level 4 Dark Fusion effect with 0 attack and 1,000 defense. 2 Mr. Rune monsters. That this card is special summon from the extra deck, you can target 1 non-quick play Mr. Rune spell card in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So, this is a little bit weaker than the other one to summon. But you can get back your, non-quick play ones, which is like the continuous spell card and the field spell. So you're probably still going to play it. Cannot be destroyed by card effects, and then it takes something else with it when it dies by battle. I don't think this one is nearly as good, like I said, but it is pretty okay. So, okay. And then Book of Eclipse reprint. So, what do I think about this mill archetype? Well, I don't know. It's hard because, like, most of these cards don't really do a lot. Like, this one has a lot of text, but pretty much the negate is very situational. They're not going to try to blow up your set cards with this out unless they just didn't read it. And it only adds the continuous spell card. Getting 1,000 life points during your end phase isn't as, like, useful as it should be, as you would think it would be. It can come up and be helpful and keep you alive, but overall, not very good. And the level 4, I honestly think if these two were switched, it actually would be a little bit better. So yeah, I think that like if the second, like if it couldn't be destroyed by battle, and then if it's destroyed by card effects, you can target a card and destroy it. I think that would honestly be a little bit better. And my reasoning for that is like, once again, you can play instant fusion in this deck, so you instant fusion it out, and then it gets destroyed at the end turn, and you get to destroy a card. That would be a lot cooler. So it could turns instant fusion into a pop effect and everything like that, which we already have cards that do that with Panzer Dragon, but this also gets its special summon to get, your quick play stuff like that back. And rather than this, at least that's what I think. I think that that hopefully we get more monsters in the extra deck so that we can see what they do and stuff like that. Because right now we don't actually have a lot going for this deck other than the whole game plan is to banish and stall. But that is going to do it for this video. if it is your birthday today, happy birthday. And if you want to send meaningful deck profiles or replays, email is in the description. JankyYGO at gmail.com. And of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.